The mission of the Round Canopy Parachuting Team USA Foundation is to perform round canopy commemorative airborne demonstrations to increase awareness and educate the public about the sacrifices and heroism of Allied paratroopers from World War II onward. To achieve our mission, the Round Canopy Parachuting Team USA Foundation trains and maintains the skills of hundreds of active duty, retired military service members, first responders, and civilians to safely perform round canopy parachuting demonstrations.
Right leg strap.
We do this by fostering camaraderie among individuals who share a passion for round canopy parachuting.
Right there. Got it.
This is accomplished through partnerships with worldwide RCPT chapters.
Go!
We provide standardized, safe parachuting activities and a sense of community for our team members, while supporting veterans and our members.
We're all combat veterans. There's a brotherhood that we have, here to fight for that guy and that gal right there. That's who I cover right there. So when I left the military in 2014, I was missing something in life. For 28 years, 9 months, and 13 days, I wore that uniform. I went through an identity crisis. I did. Went through a big-time depression, but it's tough to say this. I was bigger than something than myself, right, in the military. When I left that, I lost that, and I struggled with what most of our veterans do, and went through that thought process of, is life still good enough for me? And was diagnosed with a serious health problem. It was cancer, and I had to get treatment for that. I think me leaving the military, that camaraderie, that brotherhood, that unity that I had, that friendship, that bond, that love affair, to wear this uniform, that love affair I had, I lost it. I truly believe I was so depressed, so down, either just negative vibes or whatever. In my mind, I'm thinking I caused my own cancer, right? So I went through the treatment. My wife took me on a cruise across the Atlantic. If you've ever been on a cruise, you know they just take care of you, right? We landed in Italy, and she took me through Europe, and it was just a time to enjoy life. We ended up, June 2016, we were standing in Normandy, France, just seeing what those brave men and women did 75 years ago. And it's very emotional, it's very hallowed. I don't think I could ever describe what that's like, but it was, the tipping point for me was there, because Val and I were on the drop zone, and I look up in the sky, and the sky was full of round canopy, or just paratroopers. And I looked to her and I said, that's what I did for 12 years, and I was really good at it, and that's what put a smile on my face. And I said, I want to get back under canopy. We left France, came back to St. Augustine, Florida, and got on Google and just typed in nearest drop zone, and skydive Palatka populated. You know, even if it wasn't round canopy or rounds, I just wanted to get under canopy. So I didn't do free fall or military free fall in the military. I just didn't get that opportunity. I call Art as a jump master after leaving the military with 83 jumps. That's a lot for military guys, right? So I call, and of all people, Art picks up the phone.
Bill Markham's wonderful. Bill Markham called me.
I said, hi, my name's Bill Markham. I was a jump master. And I was beating my chest.
He was a static line jump master in the military, and he's telling me he's this and that and all this, and I was like, okay, just come on out here and we'll see what we can do with you.
And unbeknownst to me, this man has been doing this for 30, almost 35 years. And I didn't know that, but almost 18,000 jumps. When I got out there, I really still thought I was the bomb diggity, right? I thought I was the man, and only to find out I'm this big compared to that man right there. But back to the beginning, when I came here, I looked up and I saw a photo of two guys standing in World War II paratrooper uniform, right? I said, I was just in France and I saw people dressed like this. I said, what is this? And he said, yeah, we're part of the Round Canopy Parachuting Team. And I said, really? I said, that's what I did. And I began to tell the story, that's what I did. And Art said, well, we do it right down here, and he brought me down here, and this hangar didn't have a whole lot in it other than we had an airplane in here, had a few canopies and a few rigs. I said, well, this is what I did. Would you let me do this? Art, being an owner, said, hey, you know, I own this, I'm responsible, so I still have to have oversight. And then once he watched me do it one time, he said, yeah, Bill, this is where you need to be to manage this for me. And little by little, we've started to grow this and started to get other military members to come in. And so that camaraderie that I had in the military, now that I'm retired, there are people that are active, that are still serving, all branches of service, that are retired or civilians. We come here and we can tell that war story. We can let our guard down, we really can. We can be ourselves again like we were in the military. And we get it, we understand each other.
His enthusiasm for the sport and his enthusiasm with helping vets like him just is unbelievable. And I know, you know, he's one of those people that we've saved, and his drives me to do even more than what I've been doing before I met him, and it drives us, everybody who meets him, with the amount of drive that he has to make this thing bigger and better and to get more and more vets involved. I don't know how you can't support him when you listen to him.
He was a part of saving my life because he brought a brotherhood back to me. There are military guys and gals down there at Skydive Palatka that are searching for something that when they're not wearing the uniform to do, and Art has a love affair for the military.
My grandfather, he actually flew for the French Air Force in World War I. My father was a prisoner in the Philippines during World War II. I grew up with the whole military mindset. I wasn't able to join the military, but I've always loved what they do for us.
From his family, he knows what it's like to be around military guys and gals. And so he took time and energy to teach me, his staff, and made me a part of that family, that camaraderie, and got me back under canopy. So I'm a free faller skydiver, over 1,000 jumps now in 3 years.
I think it's amazing that there's people in this world who are willing to stand up for us and defend us. I feel this is how I pay it back.
Art Schaefer is a pathfinder in the sport of skydiving.
Sir, would you give us the honor to pin your son on his qualification jumps right here?
Go ahead, slap to the ground.
Specializing in tandem skydiving, Art Schaefer has been selected and trusted to make the dreams of many World War II veterans come true by helping veterans recreate their combat jumps during commemorative anniversaries. Well-known veterans include Jim Pee Wee Martin of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne, who parachuted into Normandy on D-Day and the Netherlands during Market Garden in the fall of 1944, and Tom Rice of the 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, who commanded and led 12 paratroopers out of a C-47 in the early hours of June 6, 1944, over Normandy, France for Operation Overlord.
We need to pay, just be good to people and pay things forward. Skydive Palatka, this is our way of paying it forward to these vets. When you start meeting these vets and talking to them, know that so many of them come back with a lot of problems. What we do here and helping them overcome those issues, it drives us. It's not just a little thing, it drives us to do more and more for these guys. They're willing to put everything on the line, and some of them come back not the same way they went. So let's get them back to how they were and make them whole again.
As a veteran now, was at our local VA. I was doing blood work and I just happened to see a young man sitting over on the behavioral health side. And when I looked at him, I knew that look because I had that look before, and I've seen it elsewhere, and because I was one of those at-risk veterans, right? And when I saw that, I knew he needed someone to talk to, and but I didn't know what he was missing. So I go over to talk to him, introduce myself to him, and never said my rank or anything. I just said, "I'm Bill, what's your name?" And I could just tell from his voice and how he was sitting, his posture. "What'd you do in the military?" He said, "I was infantry." And I said, "Were you airborne?" He said, "No." I said, "Would you like to become airborne qualified?" And you could literally see his posture change, his attitude change, a smile come on his face. I said, "We can teach you how to become airborne qualified because we teach just like the United States Army, if not better." He's in between the military and the VA. This is where a lot of our warriors take their lives, because the military discharge and the time it takes, the VA stepping up, can sometimes be years or longer, and you don't have the money to pay your mortgage. And I don't know how to say this other than at times you're just willing to give up because too many things are against you. And when I saw that in him, I know it. I saw that look before. He said he didn't have the money, and I said, "We will find someone to sponsor you." So Val and I sponsored this young man, and he made his 5th jump yesterday, right? And he came to me, he said, "Thank you, Bill, you saved my life. If I can save one person like that, we've done our job," right? And that's the camaraderie right there I'm talking about. That's what Art lets me do here. That's what we as the Round Canopy Parachuting team are doing here, is we're remembering those brave men and women 75 years ago and all those that came before us, trying to keep the legacy alive. Do it with respect and honor and dignity. Be professional, have fun, and be safe doing it, and leave here on the weekend smiling to go tell more war stories about what we're doing now that we're retired from the military.
After my enlistment, I got out, and I spent 25 years wondering if maybe I might skydive again someday, because parachuting was cool. I never thought I could do round canopy again. Social media taught me, yeah, I can do that. And November of 2016, I made my first jump in nearly 30 years and was crying as I walked off the drop zone, because it felt like airborne, reborn. The strength and support you get in these circles is beyond compare. I can't imagine not doing it. If you've been over there, you've probably seen some stuff that's challenging to deal with, especially if you find yourself in a civilian world and have to cope. They can put labels on it all day long. Having some support and having somewhere to put your focus and then being around that uplifting community is the best therapy I can ever imagine. I know there's other paths to take. I've done some things myself to try and change my headspace or whatever. Nothing's like this. It warms your heart, you know? I mean, especially when you realize that there's some serious things in people's brains that can weigh them down. And then you see that weight lift. It's therapeutic for you too. I mean, you see somebody else is doing better, you feel better. And to know that it's just because we're all hanging out and we've got that common bond and we're willing to support each other, it speaks volumes.
For many RCPT-USA members, playing an active role in commemoration of a significant paratrooper battle fuels their passion to honor those heroes while preserving the history of the airborne soldier.
November of 16, when I realized I could jump again, very shortly after that, I heard about Normandy, and somebody mentioned 2019 being the 75th anniversary, and that went on my list immediately. What do I have to do to get there? The uniform I have to buy, how many jumps do I have to have, what kind of travel arrangements, all those kind of things. And for 2.5 years, it was almost pins and needles. Getting over there, words fail. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Jumping where combat jumpers went in before to help liberate the continent was just mind-blowing.
This one only works if everybody joins in on the chorus.
But even more than that was to shake the hands and hear the stories of the guys that were there.
He jumped right out into the blast aesthetic line of hope. He ain't gonna jump no more.
And they're still so vibrant and so enthused. And when you give them a little time and attention, you're rewarded tenfold.
I'm down at Fort Benning and I get a call from a buddy of mine, and he says, "Rick, we're jumping into Normandy. Are you in?" And I hadn't jumped in probably 15 years. I'm an old retired Special Forces guy. So I said, "Hell yeah, I'm in." And when I hung up the phone, I thought, man, you're 60 years old. What did you just do? Hook up! Hook up! So we came up here for the basic airborne refresher and then the jump master refresher. And it was one of the most professional courses that I've ever been to, and I've been to a bunch. These guys totally safe, switched on, I mean motivated. Check equipment! Check equipment! They make dangerous things safe. When I saw how well it was run.
All okay, Jump Master. Outstanding, young man.
And the professionalism of the cadre here. 1 minute! Just the historical aspect of it, I was hooked. When we jumped into Normandy, we were going in the footsteps of our forefathers. So flying over the countryside, you know, the same routes, the same drop zones that these guys had gone into was surreal.
We know what we owe to you veterans, our freedom. On behalf of my nation, I just want to say thank you.
It was beautiful. All those guys were young kids back in the day. They still had a spark in their eye. I mean, it was priceless. Because those guys are national treasures.
I was in the Army 24 years, 19 combat tours. I've done a lot of cool stuff. The camaraderie that you have in the round canopy parachute team is just comparable to the camaraderie you have at like a special forces group. A couple years ago, they said, "Hey, we're gonna go to Paris for the 75th anniversary of D-Day." I'd been retired for 9 years. I hadn't jumped around canopy in 9 years. So we were like, "Hey, what are we gonna do?"
Check equipment! Check equipment!
Hooked up with the round canopy parachute team, and Bill Markham just happened to be a retired lieutenant colonel who had worked in special forces community. So it was like, hey, that was a no-brainer. So here we were. To be able to reflect from things that we did to the guys that jumped in on D-Day and into Market Garden, them guys are some heroes. Them guys did some crazy stuff.
To be able to participate in commemorative events, members must train year-round and demonstrate their proficiency. The training and operational safety standards of the Round Canopy Parachuting Team USA Foundation
Go to your second point of performance, which is check canopy and gain canopy control.
are the same high standards established by the United States Army's Airborne School.
At approximately 100 feet AGL, turn into the wind and assume a landing attitude.
The jump master is the person responsible for the safe inspection, deployment, and recovery of all assigned jumpers during a demonstration event or training operation. Most of RCPT's jump masters were trained while serving on active duty as paratroopers in the U.S. Army. RCPT is now providing the opportunity for its qualified members to learn and demonstrate the high Army standards to further support our mission and become RCPT Jump Masters. One RCPT Jump Master graduate is Jean-Baptiste Lecuyer. He was born and raised in Normandy, France, and was inspired by the HBO series Band of Brothers to learn how to jump and lead paratroopers out of a historic C-47 as a jump master.
I started watching Band of Brothers like all the time. All field, all meadows around my farm, around my house in Normandy. It's a drop zone. And I say one day, I won't be like Dick Winters. I won't be a jumper. I won't be jump master. So for being jump master, in the regular army, you need 12 jump. With RCPT, I guess it was 35. So when I get 50 or 55 jump, I say, I want to be jump master. Okay, give me the book, send me the nomenclature, send me the GMPI video, send me all the stuff you can send to me, and I will be jump master one day. You will see, because I am jump master now. So I won't jump in my city like Dick Winters did.
JB met the rigorous RCPT Jump Master standards in the United States and then returned home to his native France to realize his dream and lead paratroopers safely onto the historic World War II drop zones of Normandy.
Follow me! Follow me!
Try to do my best because everybody helped me here, so I won't try to get back. You know, they gave me, so I won't give back the best I can do.
One of the pillars of the Round Canopy Parachuting Team USA Foundation is to increase awareness and educate the public about the sacrifices and heroism of the Allied paratroopers from World War II onward. RCPT-USA is invited to make presentations to civic groups and schools year-round.
6 minutes!
To bring our history up close through interactive demonstrations in community meeting places and classrooms.
All okay, jump master. Boom. When I see the release point, I'll say, go! And out the door you go.
We, the RCPT members, came here to the Westside High School to talk with educators and give them some of the abilities that we have to come and assist them with instructing their students.
Good morning, faculty, staff, and distinguished guests. My name is Daniel Flint, social science teacher and team historian for the Round Canopy Parachute Team USA.
So that the students not just look at something in a book, but be able to see
Hook up!
and hear from people who actually jump from airplanes, and to be able to touch some of the gear that we have. It becomes more real to them when they have that ability.
All okay, jump master.
When our kids come to a lesson and they sit down, it's all about engagement. Part of the lesson will include an observation, a field observation guide, that they will go through specific beachheads, Utah, Omaha. This is the Eisenhower room where Eisenhower planned the invasion of Normandy.
We taught Daniel. I love his enthusiasm, and I appreciate what he's bringing to you guys where you can push it forward to our students, because this is history. We're living history and remembering history, okay? We are here to honor the World War II paratroopers and all those paratroopers that came before us. Our mission is to do commemorative jumps in the World War II style, the 1942 uniform. We wear the old brown Cochrane jump boots. We wear the reinforced uniforms that they wore back then, but we try to do what we can to look as close as we can to how they looked 75 years ago.
Our next mission is to encourage, educate, and foster those who will take our place when the time comes. So it works all the way around. We remember those who came before us. We educate those who will take our place.
A lot of these guys here, they're dying off year by year, and we're losing so much history. We're losing so much of that, the understanding of what those guys really went through. And there's a disconnect today. In today's video game culture, people don't put the realism to what went on back then. And to go to those places and see those firsthand stories and sit down there, not just to hear someone say it over a video, but to watch emotion in someone's face as they tell the story of their experiences for, say, D-Day or any other airborne operation for that matter. It's life-changing.
It's always helpful just getting somebody else's perspective on things like this. I would say that being able to kind of see history actually played out as opposed to just reading about it in a textbook or watching it on a video always is helpful to our students as far as giving them more perspective in what they're learning about.
We have to keep that memory going in order to keep the value of how we live and how we're free today and where it comes from with our young kids today. So that's why I think it's important for kids to learn about World War II and also about what those soldiers went through in order for us to live the way we live today.
Yeah, I think it's very rewarding. I think just to get back among these guys, I don't think a lot of guys who've been out for a while, have been away from other veterans, realize how much they're missing. Once they come together, they come to a place like RCPT. I think for a lot of guys it's probably therapeutic as well, just to be among people who think the same way and share a lot of the same stories and background, and it's a very positive thing. The fact that RCPT participates in air shows and wearing period uniform, jumping out of C-47s, I think it's really important for people to be able to see that and be reminded of what our veterans did in World War II and other campaigns since.
If you can contribute to the cause of our team supports, as you mentioned, we're going to be focusing on history and the heroes that went before us, the legacy that was laid down, the footsteps we got to follow. And those footsteps are still walking. We're still in armed combat, and there's still people coming back from that. Unfortunately, there's people that don't come back, but the ones that do, a leg up. And if they're interested in this, I'm convinced it's the best therapy that they can engage in, and your support could make a difference. You might help somebody come back from the edge.
I wish I would have found this 10 years ago. They keep you fit because you have to maintain a level of fitness to be able to roll with the landing. Keep you sharp because you have to remain, sharp in order to do these things, but they make it safe. I think this place saves lives. One of the things that we didn't understand for the longest time was the whole PTSD thing. And all PTSD is that you've had a life-altering experience and you've shared that with your brotherhood, and then when you get out and you're back out in the civilian world, that's not necessarily there anymore. And that's what the guys are missing, that sense of purpose, that sense of camaraderie. So that's what you find here. So actually not only the historical aspect of keeping history alive, honoring the people that walked before you. So yeah, if you support this organization, you're helping veterans connect with veterans, and you're providing that sense of purpose that they need in their life.